It's time for the football with the basketball intro.
Well, the top side streets are a dangerous place, so you better tune in to a credible face like this one. Yeah, this one. And you know he's not alone, and they're coming in hot. We got a Lake so Stan and a guy who really likes baseball. I don't know why he likes baseball.
What's up, everybody? Round two. Good to be back. We get some NFL all day action coming at you. JWeb is going to be joining us momentarily. Who do we have with us this afternoon or the morning if it's the West Coast? Borland's here. Jump shoot. JK's. Robert M says Cowboys have no kicker, which means Jerry wants to go for two all the time. Let's go, man. Cowboys down bad. We got Rovendale here. Thomas Welch, Patrick Coyne, Stubbs, Orion, Joe, John Hickey, Jimmy Peacock on the West Coast, Ghostface, Drilla, Daniel D, Poker Pro, Eric, Kyle Smith, Fan to the house, Big Ticket. Let's do this. Like the stream, subscribe to Team Hold. I see Reed in there. We got some Stephane St. Pierre. We're gonna have some fun today. We're gonna talk a little bit about Rumble. I'm gonna talk about a few things that I bought. There was a dapper story about Ticketmaster that we tweeted out just a little bit. I'm actually going to wait till JWeb comes on to talk about that because I feel like he'll have some better insight. But it was kind of funny. None of you remember this because this came out like 3 months ago. It got no traction on Twitter whatsoever. Shout out Raptor News who helped us do some digging. But we found a couple of things on the Flow blockchain that led us to believe that this was coming. We saw there was some Live Nation sprinkled in some of the Flow blockchain, and we saw so. Anyways, we'll talk about the Ticketmaster Dapper collab as well today. But let's, I don't know. What are you guys doing in the all-day streets? We got a couple of announcements today. Well, we got two announcements, right? We got the one yesterday that was like, hey, guess what? Here's $20 back on this pack drop. Oh, wait, hold on. My Wi-Fi. I'm frozen. Let me see. Oh, I was going to try to get a screenshot of that. Excuse me, guys. So the throat. We get the announcement yesterday, right? That if you line up for the pack, you get $20 back. And so everybody that was mad was no longer mad. Then we got another announcement. Oh, JK, remember, they did block my tweets about it. Then we got another announcement today from OTM Rumble that now the historical moments of players still playing can be used in Rumble. So I think like the combination of those two things are probably going to just sway most of the public opinion on this drop to go ahead and get in line. I think both of those things make sense. I think I don't know, but cars going down a one way the wrong way right now, like multiple cars. What is happening? Does that include defensive moments? Yes, for a team it does. But I think it changes the value a little bit of someone like the Devontae Adams 4K moment, right? Because it's the only common. Jeb was actually just in the Discord talking about what the price run up of that could be. And I think that is going to be the Adams one is probably going to, I don't know. In like the 35, 40 range maybe for that, which I think is pretty solid. Yeah, I don't know. I think it moves the needle in the right way. It makes sense too. It makes sense that if they're active players, they could be used in Rumble. So I thought that was a good move by the OTM crew to just make. It's just like an easy adjustment. That doesn't really change anything, right? The $20 Dapper back, whatever. I think that's cool. I'm glad they told us before the drop happened. You guys remember that Top Shot drop where like after you had already lined up for the holo, they were like, "Hey, by the way, you get $100 back after this." So I thought it was nice that we knew ahead of time. Thought that was pretty good. But yeah, Reed says Adams was predicted to be around the 15 to 20. Now it should be around 35, 40. Yeah, I agree. I think that's also where it's going to be. But yeah, Jeb was saying, like, do you think you could see that running up to 200 like some of the other 4K moments? Because remember, the Adams is going to be on a 4K that we saw in Top Shot. I guess if it hit a challenge, right, that we could see something like that happening. But for Rumble, it would only happen if it was a Thursday night game, right? Because you have to set that lineup before the game's on Sunday. So I'm pretty sure you could use the Dapper Anywhere jump shoot. To the House says, mentioned in the morning marketplace, but do you think they like doing a high pack price with a rebate? Because when users look back on it, they see all they see is the high selling price. I don't know, to the House. I mean, if anything, they are giving you a little bit back on the pack price, but it's also going back into the marketplace. So it probably, cancels each other out. I would think. I don't know. That's a good question though, to the House. Excuse me, guys. I can feel it right now. I can feel it. We're hurting right here. We're hurting. I wanted to know though. So, have you guys been shopping at all? And I also want to know from the people who were planning on sitting this out and just using, like JK specifically. JK's. I remember you said yesterday, you're like, "Hey, I'm going to use that $84, and I'm going to go in the marketplace. I'm going to get a Lamar Jackson and something else." Is that you're still the same mindset, or do you guys think you're going to come the other way on this? And like get back in line. Curious how people are feeling about this. There we go. Jeb in the house. Javier says, who do you stash now? Pacheco or Mostert? 12-team PPR. Look at this. You can tell we've made it. We're getting general fantasy football questions in here. Start sis. I don't know. I mean, everybody's so high on Pacheco, but I think that's a little. I mean, both of Pacheco's just getting drafted like super much higher than Mostert is, at least an underdog. But I like Mostert. I think, especially with the Sony Michel cut, I like Mostert quite a bit. Oh, how dare you, Kyle? How dare. All right, JK's is back in. Artemis swept the floor, or saying sweep the floor. I was going to sit out, but I'm back in. Going to line up now. Was leaning towards out before. Max packs. Max, Jeb Corp number 1. It seems like people are in now. People are in at least 2 packs. My account and wife. So my wife. Yeah, and just a reminder, too. Just a reminder. You only get the rebate for the first pack. You're not going to get $20 back for every pack. So keep that in mind. Does Devontae Adams rare come down in price? Let me pull up the NFL All Day Marketplace. Let me pull up the marketplace. Let's take a little peek. Shout out to OTM, the official sponsor of all things Team Hold. Let's go to the marketplace. I thought, does Adams have a rare? In my mind, it was a legendary, so that's why. Does he have a rare as well? Oh, he does have a rare. Yeah, I bet it does come down a little bit. Big ticket. Good question. I don't know if it goes down too much, right? What is this out of? It's out of 1099. Now you're going to get a 4K one. Yeah, it probably comes down a little. I don't know though. My all day is focused on Rumble utility. Okay, Keith. Well, now that Devontae Adams, who else can be used? Stephon Diggs. There are going to be a few more. It already dropped. The news is built into the prices. RT Moss. All right, I want to show you what I bought yesterday. And Patrick Coyne, who's in the chat, I like this take, but he put me onto this. It was right before bed. Just snuggled into bed, scrolling on the Discord, and our man Patrick Coyne was like, "Hey, I think I found a thin rare floor that might be solid." And this kind of sneaks into our hero strategy. And bang, snagged a Chris Godwin rare, $7.99 out of $11.99. It's the only moment for Godwin right now, I believe. And I like him as a potential hero play. Maybe not for the first week or two, but do think that as he gets healthier and is coming back from his injury with Tommy Brady, I think Godwin has a chance to pop and be like an interesting Rumble hero play. So I've got DJ Moore for my first couple of weeks, and then we'll probably pivot to Godwin. Again, I like using the wide receivers. I'm a sicko like that. So I'm into it. Thanks for pumping our Godwin bags. Here we go. Let's see if there were other buys. Picked up a Godwin last week. See, I'm just so far. I'm such a fish. I'm so far behind. Let's go to the marketplace, see what the Godwin's looking like. And then we'll we'll talk about the Rumble build in just a second too. Whoops. I wanted to save some of that for when JWeb gets here so we can talk about it together. But Godwin, let's see. I think I got him at 82. Oh, and it's pumped up $2. Might be time for team flip. Might be time for team flip. But looking at this, right? 84, 86, 88, 89. Oh, so it wasn't as thin as I thought it was, but it jumps up to 100 pretty quickly. But again, I just like it for I like it for the rare hero, right? And we talked about this for Rumble. As we get into the Rumble strategy for today, I think hero is going to be the way that you're going to differentiate yourself. I think you are going to have to use the hero. I know there was a lot of conversation around the OTM Rumble from preseason, right? And it was like, oh, you could do it with all commons. The guy who came in first with all commons. I get it. I think you'll be able to place with all commons. But when the difference in like first and second is going to be less than a point a lot of these times, I think it's going like that extra advantage is going to help. And again, thinking about some of the plays, like a lot of people are there. We go. Thursday night game for Godwin, week 8. I think a lot of people are going to try to hammer in quarterback rares for that play. So I'm excited to not do that. I'm excited to find different ways. There we go. Pump it. Excited to find different ways to play heroes, whether it's wide receivers. You could get away with an elite tight end. I think that's a little much of a stretch, but I think I'm going to lean into wide receivers. My JT rare is going to carry you all season. All right, I like that. NFT news and drop alerts. Did you pack that or did you buy that off the marketplace? Yeah, I think the majority of the people are going to be firing quarterbacks into that spot, and I'm gonna, if that's like I think the spike weeks are higher from wide receivers than quarterbacks from time to time. Ooh, Feldman is on the McAfee show today. Interesting. That's interesting. I don't know. Do we like that? You like that? All right. Hold on. Let's I think that's a good time to get our man JWeb on here. JWeb, what's going on?
Great reference to Kirk Cousins right there. You love to hear it.
Anytime you can sneak Kirk Cousins into something, you got to do it. So JWeb, I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I figured we could do this and then dive back into all day, but I feel like if anybody would have some interesting takes on the announcement that came out today about Dapper, let me actually share on screen, partnering up with Ticketmaster, which, you know what? We freaking broke. No one gave a shit. We broke this news a few months ago. We saw Live Nation in the Flow blockchain. We got muted on Twitter. No one gave a damn. Now all of a sudden, Decrypto's got it out there. So Ticketmaster chooses Dapper Labs Flow blockchain for NFT tickets. In a pilot program, 5 million NFTs were minted in the 6 months. So it just seems like this is going to be a new way for like ticket purchasing and whatever, moving out. It just does this do
Which is like something that's been talked about with NFTs forever, right? Like this has been discussed for a long time. So I think it's really cool. The first thing I did was looked at the price of Flow and see if there was any price impact there. Like, and it was funny. It took a quick little pop up and then came right back down. So I'm still waiting, like everyone else, for this truckload of Flow that they're going to be backing up. Like, could they maybe do that first and then make big announcements? Like, let the little guy be a part of market manipulation for one time. Jesus.
Yes. Let us be Wall Street bets for once. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
let us control the market. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's exciting. It kind of reminds me of LG had a tweet thread the other day being like the first version of Web3 or the NFTs were 10K PFPs. What does it look like the next year? He was talking about like MasterCard and all that stuff. This seems like a move in that direction where it's more of a mainstream thing using Web3.
Yeah, for sure. And we've seen the NFT market as a whole just be very stagnant, and everyone's asking like, where do we get new people from? And to me, like sports is the clear answer. Like gaming long-term, sure, but sports, like there's so much they could do. And if Dapper could just utilize some of these, partnerships they have and get people more IRL experiences, I think would be just huge for the NFT market as a whole. Like, I think that's very, very obvious.
Yeah, right. Just like more real life uses from it, like easy bridges from like one thing. I think instead of just being like, dude, buy this penguin, right? Is that the one that you like to joke around about the most, the penguin? I'm trying to remember your shit posting rankings.
Oh, I shit post about everything. I don't know. Seals, penguins, who the fuck knows?
Yeah, that's Seals. Seals is what I was thinking. Seals is what I was thinking. All right, let's dive back into all day a little bit. Just tell us, like, what's your approach been so far? I know I feel like you recently started jumping back in. How have you been approaching it?
I've been on one hand like collecting just players that I like. I mean, you could tell from the shirt, I'm a Bills fan, so grabbing some Josh Allen, Steph Diggs, Gabe Davis moments, and then I think Rumble's a pretty cool idea. Yeah. And trying to figure out the game theory behind that, right? It's coming from guys who are big in DFS with Justin and everybody. So it's like, how do you get an edge there? Taking it from a DFS tournament perspective, which I've played a ton of DFS over the years, not as much lately because my edge is much smaller than it was back in like 2015, 2016. But trying to look at it from that lens, like, okay, where can we get kind of weird if we want to try to play this weekly game and finish up at the top?
Yeah, I think that is going to be a fun way. I was just seeing if they had week 1 available yet. But what I'll do is pull up my entry from the preseason one, just so we can get a feel for what it looks like and how maybe we can approach this a little bit. Because I think you're right. I think there's going to be we're going to have to figure out projections and ownership. I think that is going to be like the first thing that I don't know if everyone's going to be thinking about it like that. I think a lot of the times, because we saw this with the TOC, which was like the first version of this, the owners club that OTM was doing, so you're just kind of playing like the best stuff, right? You're less focused on correlation and you're just like, okay, let me just put my 5 best things in there.
I haven't paid too much attention to it. Have they shown the results from like the preseason contest? Like, can you go back and look at the top finishers and everything and see what they did with their teams?
Yeah, it looks like it's still.
That's going to be really interesting these first few weeks to see how much people are looking at correlating, how much they're using, game totals to set their lineups and everything, right? Like, if that's not a big thing, then that's, because from DFS, like the first thing everyone looks at is like, okay, what's the highest total of the game of the week? That's probably going to have the highest ownership. Right. How do we differentiate there? How do we differentiate, some of these correlations and stacking options? Like, especially when you have, because if I remember correctly, there's only 2 wide receiver spots instead of 3, like on DraftKings, right?
Yeah, there's 2 wide receivers. I believe it's you get a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a flex, a tight end, and then any defensive player. It looks like this is, I don't know if it's not loading right now. Hold on, let's see if that'll do it. So I'm going to take this off the screen while that loads.
Yeah, so I think knowing that you have that one less roster spot compared to DraftKings to differentiate, you have to try to find other places to get weird. So, I try to look at some team stacks that I like that I think are going to go a little bit under the radar. And like 2 popped out to me, which were the Panthers, because I think that, people are going to sleep on Baker. I like Baker a lot. I like Christian McCaffrey. And then, doing a quarterback, pass catching running back, wide receiver, I think is a decent way to approach it. Also with that, love DJ Moore this season. Yeah, and his rare is only going for $100, which if you're looking for a rare to get that hero spot, I feel like that's a good approach to take.
Look at that 1X right there. I'm on the same page, JWeb.
There we go.
I agree with you. I think targeting teams is JK's let's talk about this too. He says, but this will be different than DFS in a way because there's no, but I think that almost makes it easier to project who's going to be playing what, right? Because if everybody has access to a $4 or let's say it's a $10 Stephon Diggs and the Bills are in a 60-point total game, that Diggs is going to be in like a shit ton of the lineup. So if you want to play the Bills, maybe you move towards Gabe Davis, or maybe you find another game that's going to be in like the 50s and you hope that the Bills game flames out a little bit, because then all of a sudden you only have to beat like 20% of the field instead of beating 80% of the field, So I think targeting those types of games are the way to go.
From a game theory perspective, I kind of view this non-salary cap format sort of like the Thanksgiving Day slate on DFS, where you want to leave money on the table. Yeah. Like, you don't want to build the optimized roster because you're probably going to be duplicated there.
Yeah.
And I think for that reason, you don't want to just go with all the best plays, because if it hits, that's still a long shot if it hits, but you're probably chopping it with a bunch of other people where, you're only going to have a few cracks at the top few positions a couple times every year. So give yourself the best there.
And I think like figuring out how to approach hero is going to be something that's going to be pretty unique. Like I did this a week or so ago. Let me go back over to the OTM site because I know they have the Rumble HQ, which we can look at, where they've got projections for week 1, which is a lot of fun. And they have the price and they tell you if it's got a common, a rare, or legendary, and how many moments they have. Right. So can I filter by legendary? So like because I'm of the mindset where I want to find. Obviously, I want to play someone that has a chance to have a ceiling, right? But if there are players that have only one rare and no legendary, or only one legendary and no rare, like you're immediately like I think Trey Lance was the best example so far until more moments come out. Let me see if I can find Trey Lance right here. So he has one moment and it's a legendary. So you got like 90 people you're competing against if he has a ceiling game.
The same thing we said for Rashad Bateman. Like, I really like him this year.
Yeah.
I like to stack people with Lamar, but he only has one moment, and that's a legendary as well.
Right.
So, like, if you're able to stack Lamar with Bateman because you have a Bateman, like that could be a huge leg up if he goes off in a game. Because everyone's gonna the Lamar Mark Andrews stack is very obvious, and Mark Andrews has a bunch of moments, so he's gonna be played a ton. But I think that's a opportunity right there to have a leg up. Yeah,
I like that. And then talking more about I think the majority of the field are going to play quarterbacks in their hero if they have it. I think it's got like the safest floor quarterback but I think if the majority are doing it, I'm trying to jam in a wide receiver. I think the wide receiver spikes are higher than everybody else. If you have Jonathan Taylor or a Christian McCaffrey rare whenever they come out, I get it. Joe says it's also free to enter, so we can take multiple shots on low-owned guys with upside as we're trying to win, not min cash. That's true. That's how I approach this. I'm like not trying to get the $10 back or whatever. But looking back, we'll start with wide receivers, and I'm trying to find guys that like don't have a common but only have a rare or a legendary. And like Chris Godwin's one of those guys. Actually, I'm sorry, I passed a couple. Like Devontae Adams, although we know that Devontae Adams is now in this next drop will be eligible, so he'll get a common, so that'll change. Mike Evans, sure, but I don't like him as much. Let's keep moving. Where was the okay? Now we're down to Mike Williams doesn't have a common yet. He's got 2 rares and a legendary, but like Godwin only having 1 rare and a legendary on the Bucks, I feel like is pretty enticing.
Yeah.
Gabe,
doubtful that he plays the first like week or two, and you know, there's going to be an opportunity once he comes back to get a few weeks if you have that rare where you're one of the few people who's able to play him before he gets
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, that Bateman's call too. I mean, I know it's tough. Like you need to have a legendary in order to do that, but I'm trying to see like other rares too. Again, I think Godwin, DJ Moore is a common as well, so it's not as sexy, but I like that one quite a bit. Stephon has a lot of moments.
Yeah.
Let me just sort by rare real quick too. Do you have any thoughts on that too? Like of where you were trying to try to tackle like your hero? Do you agree with that quarterback wide receiver sentiment, or where
I like a pass catching running back better because there is no like there's no 100-yard bonus compared to DraftKings. So, I just look at it in relation to like, how does this differ from the stuff I played in the past? And so that little extra emphasis on touchdowns, I think makes the pass catching running backs all the more valuable. So, I don't know if DeAndre Swift, I'm a big fan. That was another one of the stacks I like this year is Jared Goff with DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, I think that could be a fun one that not enough people are going to play. So I think, a player like Swift, Austin Eckler, grabbing one of those and putting them as your hero could be a pretty good strategy to take.
Yeah. Austin Eckler, I thought this was going to get me to the rare moment. Here it is. So it's rares 195. I was hoping that was a little bit cheaper than that. I love the Austin Eckler call. I mean, just the Chargers in general, I'm trying to throw as much money at as possible. I just think
if them bringing in Sony Michel scares people off, then that's just terrible because Sony Michel can't carry Austin Eckler's jock. Like, I don't know.
No. And like, if anything, it just makes Josh Kelly and the rookie Isaiah Spiller just more muddled up. It's not going to touch Eckler like that. I'm not worried about that. I mean, unless there's an injury, but
Najee could be a good option as well for that hero spot.
Although he's got that weird injury too. It sounds like he's going to be fine, but he's got that weird foot, the Lisfranc sprain or something.
I think Tomlin's just going to ride him into the ground.
Yeah.
Like I don't see any. I mean, they did it to Le'Veon Bell. They did it to James Conner. I don't see that changing anytime soon.
I think you're to your point, Dalvin Cook's probably a pretty good look then. He only has a rare and a common, and I mean a rare and a legendary. So you're like max going up against like 300 people now. It's 173 for that. But he's now considered like a pass catching running back, and the Vikings have a new offense that, I think about their coach was the former offensive coordinator, I think, from the Rams back when Todd Gurley was catching 82 screen passes a year, like right before Todd Gurley died. And so I think if they're going to be running that same type of offense, I really like the idea of Dalvin Cook.
Listen, this one's ugly, but I think Fournette is also an option. He only has a rare and a legendary. It's not sexy by any means, but I mean, he's going to catch a lot of passes from Brady, especially while Godwin's still out. I mean, Lord knows about Julio. Like, he's a 50-50 to have a hamstring injury first half of game one. So it's like Fournette could be catching you a lot of balls in this format and having the chance for multiple touchdowns every game.
I like that. Tom says he's rolling with Hurts, Burrow, and Cousins as QB rares. I think out of all three of those, like when you're talking about upside trying to win,
what a bad place to be in, Tom.
I know. Tom's doing just fine. The Hurts flow for a ceiling week, I think, is awesome. Like, I think that if I'm playing a quarterback, it's somebody that I want that can like rush in a touchdown. Talking about Kamara's got a common, so like this doesn't make it as sexy. But that's another example of like the pass catching back, right?
Yeah.
Aaron Jones, that's another one, but he doesn't have any rares or legendaries.
Yeah. I think AJ Dillon is not going to be played very much at all because everyone's afraid of the timeshare, but he's going to be very involved. He doesn't have a rare or anything, so he's just a common moment that you could toss in. But I think that's a good option and kind of like a one-off non-game stack to fill a RB spot.
Yeah, I like that as well. The Saquon too. Oh, not Saquon. I'm sorry. Zeke. Zeke only has one moment, and I hate Zeke, but Zeke only has one moment. So again, in that if you're trying to get one of those pass catching backs, I think Zeke will still catch some screens. And I don't know. Supposedly he was super hurt last year. Now he's healthy. So if that's true, I don't know. Maybe you can get excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, it is I scooped up a few CD Lamb moments yesterday just because, from a trading standpoint, just looking for the breakout candidates that aren't expensive. I think same with Juju. He's going to be played a ton, but it's $9 for and he only has one moment on the site. So
yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to do too. I feel like and again, I own some of these, so keep that in mind. But you were talking about the Panthers, and let's go back over to the market because I thought that was a fun call. Because again, I do think you're going to need to correlate some of this. If your quarterback goes off for 30 points, that means they had a receiver that also could go off for 30 points. So I wanted to see, there was another team that I think is kind of weirdly being disrespected right now, and I get it because they're a shit show. But the Arizona Cardinals, man, their offense is still pretty legit. They're still going to score points, I think. And if you look at, is there a way to just sort by offense, actually? Play cat. Oh, I guess there is by position. Hold on. Sorry. I'm still figuring out the best way to maneuver this when we're so zoomed in. All right. Well, so we'll do position.
Marquise Brown could have a great season with the Cardinals.
Yeah. And
he's an interesting one right there.
And Marquise Brown, again, this is one of the ones I own, but I'm kind of high on Marquise Brown. So I think it's only, he's got, where is it?
Marquise has one moment.
Oh, it's because he's considered a Raven.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell's going on here?
And because Hopkins is out for 6 games with that suspension?
Yeah, he's out for 6 games. I mean, I know Kyler likes to play video games and everybody's concerned about Cliff Kingsbury just being kind of a dummy. But it's $10. It's $10 for their wide receiver 1 for at least the first 6 weeks. And then if anything, when Hopkins comes back, it just means that it's going to be a little bit easier for Brown to get open. And so I really like Rondell Moore too is only $8. I still, even though I don't love James Conner, I think Conner's fine as well. I just think that, and even Kyler is only what? Kyler is, his common, I think, is only $30 or something like that.
This is so ugly, but I can't believe I'm saying these words. AJ Green is definitely a possibility while Hopkins is still out. I mean,
that's so gross.
It's so gross. And his common is $6. His rare is 52. I don't recommend anyone buying it, but like it is you want to talk about a way to get weird early in the season.
Yeah.
AJ Green and the hero is as weird as it gets.
Yeah. And then you just hope he catches like 4 balls for 3 touchdowns. That's what you're rooting for. The other one I wanted to look at, actually, I guess I should have just kept him in there. But another like cheap-ish stack, if you're just trying to get like a team that's going to be like losing. Christian Kirk, who are the other fucking wide receivers in Jacksonville right now? It's
You
like
still got Marvin. You still got Marvin Jones there. I think Marvin Jones is a fun option as well. Like he had a lot of chemistry down the stretch with Lawrence last year. You know, we don't have a Travis Etienne moment yet. So I think once that, because he was out, with the ACL last season.
Wait,
so I think
was Marvin with the Jags last year? Did he get traded at the end? I thought he was with Detroit. Maybe that was
he was with the Jags last year, and then back to Detroit with the Jared Goff stack. You could also throw DJ Chark in the mix too, because I think people forget that he's still a good receiver. He's not old. Like I think there's a lot of potential there. So I think there's a lot of ways that you can get weird and double stack some of these quarterbacks, in ways that other people aren't going to do it because they just want to play the best plays.
Yeah, I think like for me, looking at this a little bit more, I'd have to pay attention to the first couple weeks to see like how the Jags offense does. But I think I'd be more interested, and I'd have to look at the Jags schedule. But if you have like, I don't know, say the Jags are playing the Bills or something like that, and you're like, okay, Josh Allen throwing it to Stephon Diggs and then run it back with Christian Kirk. Borland, would love to hear your thought process on why you don't think you really need to stack on this. Because I think I disagree a little bit. I don't think you need to go full game stack on this, but I have a tough time because otherwise you just have to go perfect. You know what I mean? You're like, you have to hit each individual spot. But like, don't you think if your quarterback goes off, a wide receiver goes off? I don't think people do that enough in even in your redraft managed leagues. I think that's kind of wild not to consider stacking.
Yeah, I think in season long it's not as necessary. I think in season long, if you're grabbing, Jamar Chase, Steph Diggs early on, getting their quarterback later is a good idea.
Yeah. I always do it, especially if I don't get a top tier quarterback. If I'm not getting one of the elite ones, I have a lot of CD Lamb, and so I'll always snag Dak late because I'm just that's just an easy pairing.
Versus, I do like that call in the chat about the Bears as well.
Yeah, we can look at the Bears.
I mean, Darnell Mooney's only $90 for his rare. It's not bad.
No. The one thing I will say though about the stacking, I guess if your argument is I'm playing Lamar or I'm playing Jalen Hurts and I'm just banking on rushing touchdowns, and you think you're losing some upside by playing one of their wide receivers, you don't want to play AJ Brown or something like that. Sure, I'll listen to that. I'll listen to that a little bit. All right, so let's look. Is there a way to let's just filter just by commons for this time being, just so we can see some cheap stuff. Oh my God, look at this. There's only 3 guys in double digits, and 2 of them are at 11, and one of them's a backup running back. Yeah, you were right. Cereals make more. No, I'm just totally disagreeing, because now you're just saying if you tie, you need to buy very low cereals. I'd rather just come in first because I made a good lineup, I think. But that's just me. That's just me. No one has to do it that way.
And I think the argument of if you're tying is reason enough to try to differentiate and stack people.
Right.
If you're in a position where you have to tie break based off of cereals, you may have been better off differentiating and not, avoiding the game stacks.
Yeah. We the people, I just want to say too, this is on you, man. You're going back and forth with Poker Pro Eric. You made this choice. So you could find the Najee take probably on QAnon. I think that's probably where he got it from. I wouldn't worry about it. All right, let me pull up. Big Ticket was saying Herbert and Mike will rare. Let me see what we got for those.
Yeah, $87 for the non-debut Mike Williams.
Ooh, that's pretty good. I like that too, man. I really think. I just think they're going to score 1 billion points because
and they're going to be in a lot of high-scoring games, in their division this year. That division is going to put up points.
Exactly. Let's actually just look at the Chargers in general. Let's just do all of that right now. But yeah, I do. I think you're right. They're going to be in a lot of high scoring games. That conference is insane. I mean, that division is insane. Like they're just gonna have a million. They're gonna have a million points between all of them. So, what do you guys think about Cup and Stafford prior to the first game on Thursday? Well, NFT news. This is the thing, and I don't know if you do. Wait, hold on, Borland. So you'd rather not place it all? No, I'm saying I would rather build a lineup with upside than having to nail each position perfectly in order to get first. But if I decide, or if we say Bengals, Bills are going to score 70 points, I want to get as much action from that game as I can instead of trying to get the one guy that goes off for the Panthers, the one guy that goes off for the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? You're just like, you're narrowing the pool down for everybody. Anyways, all right, let's look at the Chargers. So, yeah, Herbert has a debut. It's 31. Jared Cook's not on the team anymore. The Eckler only $18 too, like just to get some exposure to Eckler.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Williams rare that we talked about. That's such a sneaky. Well, I don't know how sneaky it'll be, but that's such a nice hero play right there. And then, a Herbert legendary if you want to drop 7K. I also like Josh Palmer quite a bit too, but not necessarily for Rumble. Like, I don't think I'd be playing him in Rumble.
Not unless there's an injury. And like if Mike Williams goes down, okay. But
yeah,
you're not going to play him. You're not going to play the third receiver on a team.
Yeah. I agree.
That's what I'm saying. You don't need to go so crazy with the correlation and the game stacking that you need to do something like that. But I do think there's still plenty of value in it. Right.
Totally. I don't know. Anything else like sneaky that you've been eyeing? I know we talked about some like gross stuff. It's funny. I like the Lions pieces. I know you were talking about the Lions more than I like Goff, but I do like, TJ Hawkinson, I think is going to be a sneaky tight end from week to week. I also think, I like you already said, Amon-Ra St. Brown and DeAndre Swift are all going to be awesome. And then this is the other thing we got to take into consideration too, because I don't know, did you play TOC last year on OTN?
I did not.
Yeah, so because they just pointed out the Chargers have a Thursday night game in week 2 versus the young Chiefs defense. So the interesting thing about, oh wait, am I frozen? No. Am I still here? Okay, I'm good.
I got you.
The Thursday night shit is that the lineups don't lock until Sunday. So we actually can take in the information from Thursday before making our lineups, which I think is a really fun way to, I don't know, like decide, like, do I want to, gamble? Do I think this person's even going to be in the ultimate lineup? Do I flip it here? Do I play it here?
I mean, if you hit a few pieces on Thursday, it changes everything. So there's that game theory again. Yeah.
Borland says, I mentioned it before, but take a look at the teams with both Thursday night and early morning Sunday games. Not a slam dunk, but something to look for at Heroes. Yeah, that's what we were looking at for. That's what we were poking around last.
I love a good London game. Wake up at 7 a.m. here in Colorado and watch some football.
And watch the Jags play the Dolphins or something like that. Yeah,
love it.
I forget. Is Brady playing in London this year? I forget what the London games are. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick.
There's like 4 London games. There's a game in Germany, I want to say.
Oh, we got Germany. All right, London games announced. Here we go. Oh no, we can just look at international, baby. All right, the 2022. Oh, we got a London game, Mexico game, and Munich. Yep. Show me the schedule, though. All right, I'm sure someone already put in the chat.
Packers, Giants, Vikings, Saints, Brady in Germany versus Seattle. Okay.
Ooh. Wow. Wait. Hold on. I can't tell. Are we just fucking with PPE now? Are they really using different balls for Thursday night?
Like, I know it's Amazon Prime. It's like an Amazon Prime stamped ball now with like Bezos's face on it or something. Is that what we're doing here? Oh, he froze.
I'm back. I think. Yeah, I could. Again, I think I explained this the last time. It's my lights. My lights do this like update within the computer like once a day.
It's not ideal.
Yeah, Ryan saying Juju.
Artemis saying Juju is trash is an absolute terrible take.
No, I mean, yes, that is a terrible take. I agree. That's a terrible take. Juju was playing with fucking Noodle Ben. He did not have a quarterback.
He's shown that he's really good. Like, I'm hoping that he's maybe past the TikTok stuff. Like, him and Mahomes' brother, I hope, aren't getting together to do dance-offs and shit. but you know,
That's true.
I think that Juju could have a really good season.
Yeah, I think so too. I honestly think that's kind of a steal. Like for those of you drafting an underdog, he's going like 56 or like why I don't know. I think with behind Kelsey, you still have MVS stretching the field, and then he's just going to work the middle. I don't know. I think that's a pretty low risk, like high reward type play, right? Let's pull it up. He was like $9 last week. I wonder if
he still is. I was looking at him last night. I bought a couple.
Yeah.
Jeb's take of Jackson Mahomes belonging in prison is pretty great.
Yeah, let's pull up Juju. Is he still 9? And I think it was like a thick $9 floor too. Let's see what we're looking at here. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So a lot of 9 and 10. Yeah, I like Juju. I think that's just like low risk, high reward on that one. Only time he succeeded was next to Antonio Brown. After that, he fell off. Well, good news. He can succeed next to Travis Kelce now.
Yeah,
you know?
He's got a great quarterback throwing to him. Like I think, you know, if people want to be scared of Juju and hate on him, that's fine. Like I think he's got a great year.
Yeah, I think so too. We got, where does Mahomes finish? Top 5 quarterback? Yes. Mahomes. I think Mahomes is just going to score 1 billion points this year.
Yeah, he's gonna. Their running game like is still just okay. They want to throw the ball. Like Andy Reid is not going to go away from that just because Tyreek is gone.
Right. If anything, it feels like a lot of Kansas City pieces are going to have pretty good years. I don't know if anybody has a great year.
I mean, there's always a concern with Kelsey and how old he is now. Like he's getting up there.
Yeah.
And I was like looking at some data, like, to me, comparable players were looking at like Tony Gonzalez and Antonio Gates as far as like what they did in the years of the Kelsey's age, and they still produced just fine.
Yeah, and
close to 1,000 yards, double-digit touchdowns, 70 to 90 catches. Like I think he's still going to be very good.
Yeah, and I also think they oh my God, I just blanked on that completely. Oh yeah, Kelsey doesn't block. Like he's not a blocking tight end. He basically just runs routes. So I still think he's going to be fine. And even if he takes a step back, that's what I mean. I just think everyone's going to eat. I think Kelsey's going to eat. I think MVS, Juju, they've got that rookie Sky Moore who's been getting a lot of buzz. I just think a lot of people are going to score. I think Mahomes is just going to throw a ton of touchdowns. So I do think he finishes top 5. I think Herbert's up there. I think Josh Allen's still going to be up there. Probably see Lamar. And then I don't know.
The hot take about Josh Allen falling off, like I'm wondering how much, Brian Daboll moving on to New York is going to impact Josh Allen because, I'm not the first person to say that Daboll had a huge impact on him as a quarterback. So,
yeah, I just think I think they just have too much talent for them to have like a real drop off. I mean, maybe he's not going to be QB1, but I think he's still going to be in that conversation of top 5.
People Hardman over Juju is a hot take right there.
I mean, how many times are we going to get slapped in the face by Mecole Hardman? Like Mecole Hardman is just, I feels like he's been in the league for like 15 years, just not leading up to hype. I think it's only his 4th year, but it's still brutal. Jeb was saying Burrow. Yeah, I think Burrow is probably in the top 5 consideration. The only thing is we're going to get those guys like Hurts, who is not as good as Joe Burrow, but will get rushing touchdowns. Yeah. Is going to hang around in that conversation.
They improved that O-line. They don't want Burrow rushing a ton. Like no. I think he's going to have a great season. I think it's great for T. Higgins and Jamar Chase that they're going to have more time to throw the ball, and it's going to open up more stuff downfield. But yeah, I mean, I can see Burrow being like, top 10, 100%, but
yeah.
The rushing just doesn't seem there in like today's game to get him into that top 5, top 3 spot.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited about for DFS, not for Rumble, but of rolling out these like 3-man stacks of the Bengals that is only going to have one of Chase or Higgins. And then with Boyd, I feel like Boyd
has been left for dead.
Yeah. And I think he's going to be a PPR monster in those, like, especially for DraftKings. I just feel like he's going to, I think they're like, I don't think teams are just going to let Jamar Chase run by them for 60-yard bombs every single play, which is what was happening down the stretch. I hopefully would like to think that defenses are like, oh, we shouldn't do that anymore. They put more attention to Jamar Chase, and then Boyd just kind of eats across.
I have way too much exposure to Tyler Boyd on Underdog right now.
Yeah.
I forgot. Sure.
I have a lot. Yeah. You want to talk about that for a second? What's some of like your grossest Underdog like ownership projection?
I mean,
percentages.
I took a quick 180 from not playing best ball at all this year to now I'm going to be max entering BBM3. So there's that. God, let me pull up my exposure real quick. I listen to a ton of football fantasy content, Overs at Establish the Run, all those guys. And, everyone's like, there's the same theories going around in strategy. So I'm just trying to figure out ways to get different. Like,
yeah,
the correlating everything under the sun in week 17. I've been trying to do a little bit of that, but not as crazy as some of these people are going with it.
It's been hard not to force it, and I'm trying to not let myself do that. I'll pull up what I'm sitting on, and I'll.
So Juju is one of my highest owned players.
There you go.
Daniel Jones is my highest owned quarterback.
Oh my
got a ton of Ramondre. No surprise there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of DJ Moore. So I still, like I said, ton of belief in that one.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. I've had some movement. I've been trying to mass enter as well, or max enter. I don't think I'm going to get there. I think I'm going to run out of time here as we get close. I feel like too many things coming up in the next week, but we did. I think we crossed the 100 mark. Yeah, we're up to 107.
Okay.
But here we go. So Rashad White is like my highest owned guy, and so look at how many 25% guys I have. Disgusting.
Listen, I got a lot of Brian Robinson as well, and that I hope he heals up.
Well, did you see they didn't put him on PUP? He made the roster. Like, it seems like they're like weirdly gonna have him ready in like a few weeks. It sounds like
that's crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah, I'm happy he's okay.
Yeah.
But
I was taking darts here for running back. I was taking darts on Robinson like way back when he was like in round 17. So it was, I'm glad he's okay.
Up on Daryl there, buddy.
Oh, the Daryl one hurt. That was early. So because I was doing a lot of 0 RB. So my late shots were always on Brian Robinson and Darrell Williams because I had a ton of Kyler Murray and a ton of Marquise Brown. So I was like, all right, let me just throw the running back in there in case they get.
Is that Dameon Pierce number been going up, lately, or were you getting him early in the offseason?
No, I stopped drafting him because I had too much of him, and then all of a sudden he's become.
So you got a ton of him in like what, rounds 15, 16, 17? Like,
yeah. That's the next thing I hope they're able to do is show us like your average draft of him.
That would be a cool stat to see.
Yeah, I would love to see that. And then wide receiver. See, this is where you can tell like where I was drafting. So I have a ton of Waddle. I was getting Waddle all over the spot, all over the place. And because of my Jalen Hurts exposure, I have a lot of Devonta Smith. But Alec Pierce over 20% is gross.
CeeDee Lamb at 20%. I don't hate that either.
No,
T. Higgins up there, Marquise, like,
yeah.
I like that.
But that's I like the whole time I was drafting. I kept getting picks 5, 6, or 7. Like, so I had no McCaffrey or no Taylor, but all of my picks. And as I like scroll down a little bit, it'll make a little more sense. You're going to see, oh God, Will Fuller at 50%. Where is it? Yeah. Like Justin Jefferson, I'm at 15%, which shows you exactly where I was drafting, right? Like I have a lot of solid wide receivers in this 15% range. Like Jamar Chase is at 13. DJ.
So you were doing a lot of like grabbing, Justin Jefferson, 4 or 5 spot, getting T. Higgins on the way back.
Yeah,
starting that way in 0 RB builds.
Yeah, because I was of the mindset of like if I didn't, and you can see it in my running backs, like if I didn't get Taylor or McCaffrey, I kind of just stayed away until later, unless I was able to get Saquon. I did like Saquon quite a bit this year. But you can see, like, this is my first, like, Stevenson, I like at 22%. But then, I mean, fucking
TDP.
Oh, God, yeah, $455. Goodbye. Even Gainwell. McKissick, I don't know. I like Chase Edmonds quite a bit. I'm excited to have a bunch of him.
You went with the Algier and Cordell. I had a hard time. I like Drake London, but I just don't know if how much faith I have in Mariota as a quarterback to get the ball to London and Kyle. Like, I love Kyle Pitts.
Let me tell you,
him.
I got 7% belief in Mariota. How about that?
7%.
Yeah, it's because I kept I'd go like Pitts, London, Patterson, and I'm like, all right, we're getting Mariota too. Let's let it ride. But that's only, what I was trying to do too. Originally, I was trying to get like 2 really good quarterbacks. And then I started getting like, what if I had so many of the same type of builds. So I was like, what if I do 1 elite quarterback and then 1 either like late round pick. And that's where you see like the Daniel Jones come in, or like that's how I ended up on a lot of Derek Carr or Mac Jones. Mac Jones for a little while. I was like, dude, the Patriots offense, you can stack them easily towards the end. But
I
they're not
don't
going to.
I don't hate the Mac Jones play. Like Hunter Henry could have a good season. We'll see about Devontae Parker coming in. I had a hard time clicking him and Jacoby Myers' name, but I think that could be a situation where if they do throw a lot, it's just going to get spread around. Like I don't see any one guy from their wide receiver core having a great year.
No, I totally agree. And I don't think it's going to be Parker. Like Myers was the one I felt the most safe with. I also was getting Kendrick Bourne late for a while.
I was doing that too.
It
felt kind of weird.
Yeah, because then the reports were like, wow, Kendrick Bourne might be playing in China in a couple of weeks. Like, awesome. But then I felt better because it was like, it wasn't just Kendrick Bourne. It was everyone was bad. So maybe it wasn't Kendrick Bourne's fault. But I'm excited for it to be over so I can just enjoy that. I feel like every day, like when I have a free hour, I'm like, well, I guess I should jump in a draft. How many left do you have before you're maxed out?
So I'm doing a ton of like just living the dad life. I knew I was not going to have time to max enter if I did all fast drafts. So I've been doing a ton of slow ones. So I still need 41 to finish up, and I have to start 10 more. So I'm gonna
you're gonna get there.
I'm gonna get there for sure. But yeah, like I'm doing the slow draft because like there's no way I was gonna, even if I was doing 2 at a time fast, there was no way I was gonna find that amount of time to get them all in.
No, that's smart. That's actually a big brain move. I wish I had thought to do that like earlier in the year. That's what John Jackson did. He did a bunch of slow ones. I know Overzet does that too. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to I'm fine if I get to like 115. You know, if I don't get to a full 115.
Best ball. I mean, did you play back in like the MFL 10 days?
Yes.
Of best ball? Like that, you know, back like what,
Early.
6-7 years ago? That was when best ball was like brand new.
That's because I'm in a dynasty league with Overzet that we use the MFL site, which like it's weird because it's one of the worst sites, but it's also still the best for dynasty.
Like it's very customizable.
Yeah, but that was the one. That's how we learned of the best ball. It's because we were doing that. PBS if we have any. I do have Kendrick Bourne from that pack. Are you going to line up for that pack drop that's coming this week?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think it's a cool one. This is the most excited I've been for a Dapper product in a little while now, and I think that'll seep over the Top Shot again too. So I'm excited.
Back.
It's gonna be fun.
Now, hey, listen. Now that
football's back, man.
I know, me too. I'm ready. I'm ready for football. I'm excited. It's funny. I started getting a little bit more excited about the basketball season again, but I'm not ready to start thinking fantasy basketball. I'm just excited that it's going to be back in my life. But I am excited for Sundays to just do nothing for 6 straight hours. I'm very excited.
I'm excited for college to come back. I get to watch, cheer on my Mizzou Tigers toward another 6-6 season that are showing in the Potato Bowl against one of the military schools that they're going to lose to. So, like, I'm really, really pumped for that. Great.
Go Mizzou. Go Mizzou. JK says, when GM Dave on midday? I think he's going to come on right after he's done with Pat McAfee today. I think Dave graduated the Team Hold stream. He came on a couple weeks ago, and now he's just going to do stuff like McAfee.
I mean, pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing, except no tanks over here.
Yeah, be the AJ Hawk to your Pat McAfee. How about that?
There you go. Hell yeah. We both have to grow some hair. Yeah. All right, JWeb. I won't take up any more of your time, man. What do you want to plug? Should we talk some Flolio? What's going on over there?
Oh man, still building out the site. We got some performance marketing that we're working on. Just working away on that stuff, and I have my IRL business as well. So doing like 2 jobs plus dad life is exhausting, but life is good, man. I got no complaints.
Yeah, dude. So 2 jobs, dad life, and slow drafts.
It's the only way I can do these damn things. And I mean, I'm too much of an addict to not put 150 teams into BBM3.
I know. That's what I'm realizing too. That's why I finally was like, hey, Mike, it's okay if you do 115. They're not going to move the needle for you.
I mean, I honestly think football season coming back is a good thing from a gambling standpoint because the NFT market has been so boring that I'm just like, I need to get my fix.
Yes.
I need something. Here we go. Time to bet on football.
Exactly. All right, I'll get you out of here, and then I'll wrap up solo. But thanks again for coming on, man. I appreciate it. We'll get you on again soon.
Absolutely loved it. Thanks, guys.
All right, later, JWeb. Shout out JWeb. He's always a great guest. He's been on so many times now. I feel like we got to get him a blazer or something like we do on SNL. All right, guys, we're gonna call it there. Just a heads up for tomorrow. So we'll have. I don't think we're gonna have a show tomorrow. I'm gonna try to put something together so that it will come out before. It'll come out. You'll have something that comes out in the next 2 days. But I am leaving for Chicago. My flight's at 11. I was thinking it was at 1, so I thought I could squeeze a show in the morning. I'm not going to. So this is the last one of the week. Somehow we still managed to do, I don't know, 4 or 5 shows already this week. So let's get some. But get in the Discord. I'll drop a link in there if you're not in there. And I don't know, pay attention to Twitter, hug your friends, love your family, stuff like that. I don't know. Just give us a show of drops that are patched together. There you go. Just like 25 minutes of that. But good shit, everybody. Thanks for being here today. Good luck in the drop tomorrow. Excited to see some polls. Tag us on Twitter. Do all that shit. All right, let me get out of here. We out.
Well, the top side streets are